Hello, ladies. Good morning, and happy Saturday to all of you. Have you ever woke up in the morning and you had an idea and you decided that you're going to in a way implement instantaneously? That is sort of kind of what happened this morning with this pop-up training. Okay, I woke up today and felt inspired to teach. And since I don't have I have a wellness event that I'm attending with my husband later today, but since I had the morning free, I wanted to take a few minutes and love on my community and show up for you all to talk about productivity, burnout, overwhelm, and how can we toss it to the side as we build our legacies and our empires. If you're new here, I am Christina Garrett. I am the founder of the Momathon movement. I am a productivity coach by profession, and I am very honored to be a part of this community and this conversation as we help busy women do more without burning out. Okay. I am thrilled today because I think this conversation is so necessary. I feel like there are certain talks that we are having in I'm gonna go live in my group too. I feel like there are certain conversations that need to be had that aren't being had. We are doing what some doctors do, where we see a symptom, so we medicate based on the symptom. Okay, we medicate based on the symptom. You go in with a pain in your knee. They may or may not X-ray you like they're supposed to, and you get to and you go to the next process. Somebody might just subscribe you or prescribe you some ibuprofen, an anti-inflammatory, and send you home. All right. But here in the Momathon community, I don't want us to do that. Here in the Momathon tribe, I don't want for us to just prescribe something for the symptom. We see a million relationship podcasts. We see a million different platforms and things that talk about the symptoms that come with being a mother, being a wife, being a leader, being an entrepreneur, being someone who's starting something major, being somebody who's changing the world, right? And we see all of these different platforms and communities that talk about the symptom. But today, for just a little while, I want us to go to the root. For just a little while, I want us to go and unearth and look at some things and say, you know what, Christina, there's some elements of my life right now that I feel like I need a magnifying glass for. I feel like I need to look a little bit deeper and see what's working, what's not working, and begin the work of troubleshooting to do it differently. Okay. So if y'all are new here, if you haven't been here for one of our trainings before, I am Christina Garrett. I am honored to serve the world as your productivity coach. Whether you work with me one-to-one yet or not, there are over 10 years worth of lives, information, content, summits, 1 hour trainings on the Momathon Facebook page and YouTube to help you organize your busy world. Okay, to help you organize your busy world. And today, for a little while, I'm going to talk about the core of our foundational principles, which is the 4 pillars of productivity. Okay, so if you are a next level woman, next level women, I'm going to say this again and again. Next level women need a next level strategy. You cannot do what everyone else is doing. Let that make you feel better. Okay, first off the top, you are not a unicorn. You are not the exception to the rule. I know we want to feel like we're exempt. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for turning up with me today. We're going to be here for a few minutes. You are not the exception to the rule. You're not a freak of nature or a scientific anomaly. Okay. Instead, I like to think of next level women as those who may be the first in their families to do some things like what we have been doing. You may be the first in your family to have graduated and gone for advanced degrees. You may be the first in your family who said, hey, I'll have all the kids and not be worried about the aftermath, the chaotic aftermath. You may be one of the first in your family to start their own business or build that business to scale or make it six figures or multi six figures or aim for the seven-figure mark. What? You're probably one of the first people in your family to do something like that. Okay? So can we be all right? Can we be okay today with this idea? Can we be okay today with the idea that these are the elements of our life that we have to master? You're not a unicorn. Your life is not broken. Your family, your marriage, your relationship, your presence with your kids is not broken. But sis, you might be the first. You may be one of the first in your life, in your family, to do what you've been doing. Good morning, everyone. You may be one of the first. Can you be okay with that? Can you be okay that you're a woman who is carving out a brand new picture, a brand new rule? Can you be all right with being the one who does something like what other people haven't been doing? Can you be all right with that? Let that simmer, okay? So number one, you're not a unicorn. You're not broken. Your life is not broken. If you're having a hard time right now, you're in the right place. If you're trying to figure out what to do, when to do it, my to-do list is overflowing, you're in the right place. If you're a next level woman looking for a better way, you're in the right place. If you have experience with feeling motivated and then losing your motivation and then trying again and then it not working and then you feeling burned out and then you got to hype yourself up again and go after it again, you're in the right place. If you feel like there's always something to do, you're staying up too late, working, typing away, trying to get just this one more thing done, sister, you are in the right place. Okay. Everyone here that's watching with you this morning, everyone, if you have questions, come to the Momathon Diaries Facebook page so I can see all of your comments. Okay. But you're in the right place today. And it's a good time, a good place for you to spend your time this morning because we're going to work through a lot of this. I think someone is already feeling relieved to know that you're not this scientific anomaly, that, you know, this freak of nature, that if you're feeling challenged off camera, right? Off camera, when you're not forward facing to the entire world, when you log off, unplug, and you look around, and you feel like things are chaotic. Your relationship with your spouse, significant other, if you're co-parenting, is not meshing. Okay. You're talking to your kids and they're looking at you and you're looking back at them and y'all are trying not to yell and holler and do all the things. Okay. All of these places the challenge is just that you may have more moving pieces than some of the other women in your life. Okay. You may be one of the first. I want us to just sit with that. Let it simmer. Good morning. Let it simmer for a little while. Just feel in your soul. It's okay if I'm one of the first to do this. Okay. So let's begin to work through some of the signs that we need to do a different way. Okay. Some signs that we need to do a different way. I don't have the book in front of me this morning, but I am traveling next week to Chicago. Excited to present on wellness and fixing your burnout for the Hyatt Hotels Emerging Leaders. Okay. I'm excited about that trip and being able to pour into them in that way. So because I've already been preparing my talk for this, I have some of the principles about what burnout looks like already soaking in here. Okay. So let's work through a few of the signs that you are burned out. Now, in combination with the notations I'm going to give today, I also asked my community, what does burnout look like for them? If you're a busy mom, if you're a leader, if you're a change maker, what does burnout actually look like for you? Okay. So some of them said exhaustion. All right. When I am burned out, I feel tired all the time. I feel like I'm dragging. I feel like I don't have enough energy to complete my day. All right. To complete all the things that are on my list to do. When I'm burned out, I yell more. I get more frustrated over simple things. When you're burned out or emotionally exhausted, you become more cynical. You become more cynical. Everything is a negative spin. You become more pessimistic. You feel like this current phase of your life is the best phase of your life. It's too hard to change. That's one component of feeling burned out. That's just one more. Some of my ladies said that they carry their burnout and their exhaustion, their emotional overwhelm in their bodies. They can feel it in here, in their chest, right? They can feel it in their neck and shoulders. When I'm overwhelmed, like, or feel exhausted like that, I carry mine right here. And I make my husband like come and like rub my back and like do like this thing that he does, and I just let it go. Okay? I want all of us to think through, what does this look like for you in your life? For some of us, when we are burned out, we start and stop like crazy. You get excited, motivated, you race towards your next big thing. And then when it starts to feel like it's too much, you wean back again. You go here or there. We're everywhere, bouncing all over the place. Okay? So the question, this necessary element is, what does burnout look like for you? Are you exhausted? Are you yelling more? Are you getting upset with the people in your life because they're not performing or doing what you want them to do? What is it that's happening in your universe that is forcing you to, that's making you feel like, I don't have the capacity to extend for yet one more thing? All right. I don't have the capacity to extend for one more thing. So we got to do our math. Okay. We have to do our math. What does overwhelm look like for you? Some of us feel it in our bodies. We don't breathe as deeply as we should. Some of us get frustrated with our children, right? However small or big they might be. We're always looking at them like, there's one more way that you could make me happier. When we're overwhelmed, sometimes we want to throw in the towel. When we're burned out, we want to just say, you know what? Throw the whole business away. You quit every month. You quit every month. Every month, you can pinpoint the moment when you stop trying as hard as you did earlier in the month. You set a certain business goal, a certain personal goal. You make it halfway through the month or halfway through the quarter. It doesn't look like it's panning out the way you want it to. So you're ready to throw in the towel. That happens when you're burned out. That happens when you're overwhelmed. I know everybody has seen, it was a viral post that talks about, like, I'm not angry, I'm just overwhelmed, like I'm just drowning right now. I'm overstimulated. There's so much happening. I can't keep up. Such a defeatist, surrendering notion that whatever it is right now, this is just my phase of life. This is just where I am in terms of my family. I'll feel better when they're all grown. I'll feel better when I go back to work. I'll feel better when this happens. I'll feel better when that happens. Always something extra telling us that I'll feel better when. Insert something that you don't have right now. Okay? This is what burnout looks like for many of us. Exhaustion, frustration, yelling more, body tight, body locking up. I have some clients and sisters who have autoimmune diseases, right? Longer standing illnesses, mental illnesses, right? That challenge them. That if they go to exhaustion or high stress, their bodies respond. They end up in the hospital. Okay. So now burnout is not just a thing that we toss around on the internet. It's now one of the World Health Organization's classifications of diseases. Okay. We cannot operate at our highest self if we're ready to throw in the towel and if we feel like, I just don't have the capacity to be this person. I just don't have the capacity for it. So sorry, waving a white flag. All right. So let's go there. Let's go to the next thing. So the first thing I want you to know is that if you're a next level woman, you need a different plan. Okay. You need one that honors your current phase of life. You need one that honors the season that you're in. If you have small children, teenagers who are about to graduate, if you're an empty nester, like whatever plan you have, it has to work alongside your current season of life. It just has to. Like you can't unfortunately, as much as we wish we could just change all the things and make it something else entirely, this is your current season. Let's be okay with the current season. Okay? Let's be okay with the current season. All right? So, let's start there. Let's start there. Hold on, guys. Let's go to the next thing. Let's go to the next thing. All right. So, stretching your capacity. All right. I have, I am always believing that you are, there we go. All right. I'm always a believer that you have the capacity to accomplish any goal. Okay. You have the capacity to accomplish any goal. In times where we may feel as though something is not working the way we want it to. Okay. I always ask myself, Christina, I ask my clients, have you added on more than you needed to? Okay. Have you added on more than you needed to? Because sometimes what ends up happening is we will we'll create a goal, we'll set a plan, and then we'll include way more bullet points than we need to. You decide that you're going to raise your business profit this year by 50K, right? So now you come up with every single way on the planet to generate 50K more. And what happens, what I usually tell my clients is, wait a second, pull back. What if you don't have to add all the extra? What if adding all the extra isn't serving you? Okay, what if adding more bullet points underneath this idea or underneath this thought isn't the way to go? Okay, so I want us to streamline. Good morning. I want us to streamline and ask ourselves, am I adding too much stuff? Am I giving myself the opportunity to jump from item to item? I have 4 pillars of productivity. For every single one, I can teach a whole separate hour-long class on each one. On vision crafting, creating a plan for your family, on communicating your needs. I have a talk that's just on communication. I have a talk that's just on delegating like a diva, like a boss, right? Where you invite other people into your vision. And then I have one on elevating your mission, so that you can pitch and do proposals for amazing opportunities and feel like your capacity is wide open. We have all of those. But for today, I'm going to narrow it down and touch on each one. I'm not going to throw them all at you to overwhelm. So what happens is, whenever you create a goal, you're going to instantly, your mind, your very human mind goes to find all the things that I can do to help make this happen, to help bring it to life. And all of a sudden you find yourself working on a digital, I'm going to talk to the coaches, consultants, service providers, founders. All of a sudden you find yourself creating a digital product and working on all the downloads, creating extra landing pages, doing pop up this, pop up that, all this over here, this over here. I got to create a whole new webinar. I got to create this whole new thing. I need to host a live event like Christina hosts a live event. Wait a minute. Am I adding extra stuff to tell myself I need all of these ways to hit my goals? I need all of these ways to flush out where I'm going. So we got to work on first stretching our capacity in increments. One of my clients, when we first came together, started working together a year ago, I was like, you set the pace for your goal. You don't have to rush to do anything. You don't have to rush to do anything. You don't have to blink your eyes and become a superhero overnight. Let's just change one thing at a time, one thing every week. And then a year from that time, her life is literally unrecognizable. She's doing some amazing, I mean, just on television as a mom correspondent. Like she's just doing all the things, right? But we changed her process in increments. We didn't jump in and say, let's do everything. Let's do all the things. We didn't do that to her. Okay. So I want for us to make the assessment. Okay. I want us to decide today that I'm not going to be that person. I want us to decide right now in this moment that I'm not going to be a do it all. I'm every woman. I need to accomplish all these things to make this happen. Let's just agree together today. One of the hardest things to do is to constrain your effort, to decide that I'm going to do these select things better, 1, 2, and 3, not try to change and mature and grow every part, all of those bullet points at one time. It's one of the most challenging things to do. When my clients come to a call and they're like, oh, I have a new idea, or I feel God calling me to this greater big thing. Flag on the play, God is absolutely calling you. Okay. But to what for this current season? All right. Yes, you can do it all, but there will be some ideas that are for now and some that are for later. There are some ideas for now. There are some that are for later. Okay. Can we be all right? Can we be okay with embracing the process and trusting the Habakkuk 2 rule? Okay. That the vision is yet, right? What does it say? The vision is yet for an appointed time. It is not for all the time. And every vision is not for today. Right? Every vision is not for today. Everyone is not for this month, this quarter, this year. If God blesses you to live till 95, you have a lot of years to bring many ideas to life. So then the question is, good morning. The question is, how are we going to pull it off? The question is, how are we doing it? Okay. Good morning. How are we doing it? How are we pulling this thing off? Because we can often be detracted by trying to do too many things. Okay. Trying to do too many things at one time. You're not a unicorn. Your life isn't broken. Nothing is wrong, but you just may have more moving pieces than other people. Okay. You might have more moving pieces. So let's get back to it. Number one, we talked about the signs of burnout. I have my pen still in my hair. We talked about the signs of burnout. Okay. Feeling exhausted, feeling overwhelmed, yelling at your family more, feeling like you don't have the capacity to do the things you need to do. You're feeling frustrated, more cynical than at other times in your life. You have an increasingly negative outlook. It's just not getting better. Like we have all of these things playing along with the very real reality of our normal to-do list and the things that we have to get done. Okay. And the things we also have to get done. So that's number one. Now, number two, I want to address for a second your starting and stopping cycle. Your start and stop cycle. I cannot emphasize how important it is for you to know yourself. For you to know yourself. The woman who sometimes her emotions get in the way. Y'all hearing me? Sometimes our emotions get in the way of our progress. And I often ask my clients, did you make this business decision off of emotion or off of a strategy? Emotion looks like this doesn't feel like it's working, so I'm going to switch to this. Emotions. This feels like it's taking too long. I'm going to switch. I'm going to quit. I was talking with a really amazing mama earlier this week, and it saddened me that she closed her coaching business. It's sad to me that she closed her coaching business down. I'm like, girl, that business is going to get you further any day, right? Or do both. Like if you're going back to work, that's fine, but don't stop offering your coaching services while you work, while you know, do both. Still continue to make calls to action and invite people to work with you, like, because your postpartum coaching is a game changer. I wish I had that during my baby's first year. That's going to change somebody's life. Don't stop offering that. Okay. So we are working through the brainstorming process. We're working through our own personal hindrances because a lot of times we change directions. We change directions off of emotions, not off of strategy, not because quarter 3 requires this change. Nope. Like my quarter 2 looks different than quarter 1 because now we're conference planning, right? October 25th through the 27th in Atlanta. Yes, you need to be there. Okay. But we will change directions off of our emotions. So my marketing, what I talk about, how often I talk about it, the emails, the marketing components of the website changes and tickets and all this stuff, right? All of these changes are predictable because I know at quarter 2 we're conferencing, right? Like we're talking about that gets added into our scope. Okay. Some of us, though, we are making changes and it's not because it's on the schedule. It's not because, okay, it's not because it's on the schedule. It's because my computer wants to do a timeout thing. Hold on, everybody. Okay. It's because we got the itch to change something and to do something different. Our emotions get the best of us. So this is where we fall into the start and stop cycle. We fall into this, I'm not really sure if it's working, so I'm going to pivot, but you've really only been doing it for like a month or 2. You've really only been doing it for like 6 months. Okay. This is our start and stop cycle. This is how we know that our emotions are getting the best of us. So we pivot, quote unquote, pivot, change directions. And it might not always be because our strategy demands it. Okay. So we have the start and stop cycle. We have the emotional cycle of change. That is the roller coaster ride that you go on whenever you decide to change your behavior or become a new person. Your emotions like kick in. Your new thoughts kick in. And you're saying to yourself, self, wait a minute. I didn't realize I was going to feel like this. Can you even identify as a woman, as someone who is self-aware, that this is what's going on in my life, in my body, in my schedule? I'm having these thoughts that are not supporting my main goal. This is not helping me. Feeling like this isn't helping me. We don't have time to feel like this right now. We got to get it together. I got to pull it together. I don't have time to be dramatic. Okay, I don't have time to be dramatic. I don't have time to have any mind drama. I just don't have time for it. Are you willing to be that person that identifies it and then moves past it? Okay. So we have our signs of burnout: exhaustion, overwhelm, feeling cynical and negative. We feel it in our bodies, that tension. But then also when we strive to be a next level woman, you're going to go on the roller coaster ride emotionally when you decide to become someone different. I was coaching one of my ladies yesterday who, she's amazing, and she has these really great support resources for mothers. And I was like, so listen, you're telling me that you want to be somebody who's behind the scenes. You don't want to be, like Christina's the face of Momathon, right? Like when y'all come to the conference, y'all gonna see me glittering around, floating around the room like the fairy godmother, taking selfies and doing all the things. I love that stuff. I'm like, oh my gosh, my people are here. Okay. But she was like, I kind of want to be behind the scenes. I said, but this vision that you're sharing with me for 1 year from now, 3 years from now, is not the behind the scenes woman. Sometimes that's our go-to statement, because we assume that that's who we should be. Maybe because we're tired or burned out, or we don't want to be identified as a coach or as this or as this. All fine and good. But I'm letting you know now that the vision you're sharing with me is not a behind the scenes woman. Not a behind the scenes woman. For another client of mine, she's like, I don't want to be called this or this. I'm just letting you know that what you're describing to me is coaching. That's what you're telling me. I'm just letting you know that you have a personality for the limelight. Are you okay that I see that? It's one of my newer clients. She was like, yes, I see it too. Good. You ready to get it? Let's go get it. But on your way to becoming that next level woman, you're going to have some stuff come up for you. So, I mean, from new feelings, thoughts, emotions, I should just turn around and go back to the way things were. And that feeling, that very normal human experience is totally normal. Happens to the best of us, okay? So we got our signs of burnout. You're better able now to identify, are you in a start and stop cycle? Some of us can pinpoint the moment that we stopped trying. Can you pinpoint the moment when you stopped trying? Like, you first get the idea, you're pumped up, you're ready, you're running after it full steam ahead. And after a certain point, just like anybody who starts out a race running too hard, running too fast, at a certain point, you're going to phase out a little bit. You're going to slow down some and say, maybe I was trying to do too much. Maybe I was trying to do just a little. I need to pull back a little bit. And so you begin to, instead of going 5 miles an hour, you slow down to 4. And then instead of 4, you slow down to 3. Now you're walking the 5K, okay? We got to be able to assess when in our own cycle do we slow down. Good morning, Sherry. Thank you for being here. Burrell Worldwide. I love it. Okay, we got to pay attention to when in our cycle. It happens to the best of us. No matter how high you are, no matter what phase you're in, no matter what your business is doing, we all have moments where we're running full steam ahead and something happens that slows our progress down. Can we recognize that? Almost like an out-of-body experience. Like you can look over at yourself and say, girl, you're doing it again. Girl, you're doing it again. You get excited, you get pumped up about an idea, it starts to feel harder than you thought it was. You take your foot off the gas. There you go again. You have to be able to pinpoint and zero in on these elements. You got to be able to see it. Every year, sometime in June, when I'm planning my conference, I'm like, oh, I'm going to do something smaller next year. This is a lot of work. And every year, it gets bigger. More people, bigger budget. Every year it gets ridiculous. I'm like, Teresa, can we feed for 3 full meals this year instead of just 1 or 2? Can we do all of this here? Can I have this? Oh, I need this right here. Doing way too much stuff. Just more and more every year. Next year's year 10. I'm like, can I fly Drew Hill in for my 10th year? Is that a business expense? Like, just ridiculous. Every year it gets bigger. Every year. Every June, every May and June, I, Christina, say, I'm going to do less. And every year I do more. Now that I've pinpointed this down, I'm like, oh, Christina, you're just in your cycle. You got to pay attention to these emotional cycles where you get excited, you run full steam ahead, you lose your motivation, you pull back, and then you smack yourself, get motivated again, and then dig yourself out the mud to go back and try. It happens to the best of us, but can you identify it now? Okay, I want you to be able to know yourself at that level that when you're going through an emotional cycle, you're not changing your strategy or your business ideas based off of your feelings. Instead, they're based off of your strategy, your plan, the creativity, the inertia, the momentum that you are creating as a leader. I'm not talking to the women who don't know who they are today. I'm not talking to the women who are still reading Purpose Driven Life, trying to figure out why God put you on the planet. There's space for you too. We love you. But this is for those who have that audacious dream, that big goal in their hearts. I need you to know yourself. Now, from me and my clients, we usually work through this through coaching. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Okay. What kind of options we have to support you this summer. Right. But I want for us to be able to nail down, as a result of this talk, as a result of this conversation, this training today, I see myself now. Christina told me I'm predictable. She told me I'm predictable. She told me I can do a out-of-body experience, look at myself, see myself falling back into the same patterns again and again. And now that I've identified it, I can get the right resources, the tools, the support to help carry me through those times. That might be accountability. That might be, listen, I've been snatching edges on my clients all for the last 2 weeks. Everybody been hanging up mad. I'm like, you don't need that idea. You have exactly what you need right now. You just need to master this right here a little bit better. You don't need that part right now. Can we put that on the shelf till next year? Is that okay? Are you willing to be the person that does that? Are we willing to be the woman who organizes her life? Are you willing to hear your husband out when he says, baby, you overworking? Are you willing? Can you see the cycles? Can you identify it? That is so important. It's the difference between survival mode and putting up posts that you're exhausted and overwhelmed and kids are wild and entrepreneurship is ghetto and all this kind of stuff. All those posts, those very, my life isn't working the way I want it to work. Those posts, the people don't support me posts. I just want them to be a part of my vision. Nobody owes you anything. Check your cycles. Check those cycles in your life and say, you know what? I'm expressing some type of entitlement that this journey should be easier than it actually is. It's okay if it's challenging. If it were easy, what do they say? Everybody would do it. Everybody would be doing it. Okay? So we got our signs of burnout. You're going to start to pay attention to your cycles, number 2. Okay, as you change your behavior, as you add in new things, as you clean up your mindset, as you work on enlarging your capacity, you're going to check your cycles, okay? And then number 3, all right? I'm going to intertwine the pillars of productivity into this number 3, okay? The third question would be, what do you want to celebrate at the end of the year? What do you want to celebrate at the end of the year? I ask my ladies often who come to a discovery call, I ask them, if we were to break up right now and go our separate ways, and you see me again at the Momathon conference or at the end of the year, what would you want to tell me you accomplished this year? If you said, Christina, I know I haven't seen you in a while, but this has been the best year of my life. This has been the best year of my life. Oh my goodness. 2024 owes me nothing. I did everything I said I was going to do. I stepped up to the plate. I was consistent. I was disciplined. I was determined. I have so much to celebrate. What would be on that list? What would be on that list? If you could dream without censoring yourself. If you could celebrate big wins and stop being afraid, if you would stop letting your, as they say, intrusive thoughts or your anxiety rule out your life experiences, if you knew that you were going to succeed at it, what would you do differently? How would you be different? Who would you become on the other side? How would you organize your life to make sure things are working and flowing well together? What would you do? How would you change? I told my client this week, I was like, listen, the woman that you're telling me you want to be and this current you, right? I was like, you're telling me that you're fine with this, but the vision you have commands that you become this person. Commands that you embrace your own voice and step in as a CEO, as a founder, as a director. That's the vision that you're sharing with me. So my job as your coach is to remind you of your dopeness every week so we can go be her. So we can go and become that person, okay? So what do you want to celebrate at the end of the year? In order to have that turned up celebration, you got to have the 4 pillars, all right? The first one is to create a family vision. What exactly do you want to have incorporated into your family structure on a daily basis? What's important to your family? What do you all savor time with doing? What traditions do you want to keep living in your family life? Okay. How do you want to feel when you think about your family? Do you want to feel anxious and overwhelmed? Or do you want to feel like my home is a place of laughter, joy, and peace? Those two things have to go together. Okay. You got to create a family vision. For Christina's family, we enjoy flexibility within reason. Okay. We enjoy flexibility. For Christina's family, we enjoy traveling together. We enjoy staying up a little later, waking up a little later, having slower mornings, at least a couple mornings out of the week. Okay. These are things that we savor as a family. What's important to yours? Okay. Number 2, you have to communicate your needs to your loved ones. Communicate your needs to your loved ones. Very often, many of us have a vision, but we're not telling anybody else about the vision. We have these big goals, and we're not explaining to other people about the goals. We're not telling other folks that this is something that's necessary. These are the needs that I have right now. This is where I am emotionally right now. We're not telling other people that. Okay, so because of that, we're not including our husbands, our children, our support team in the vision. You can have a whole assistant and then still be telling the assistant, I got it covered. If you don't send that stuff in an email, tell her the things that need to happen. Okay. Very often we will pull back from the very things that are going to get us, the very people that are going to get us there the fastest. You must communicate your needs. You have to be able to vocalize to the people you love, to the people who are on your team. These are the changes that are happening, not just the good changes, but the ones that are going to take you away from home more. Like I'm leaving to go speak for Hyatt next week. I'm going to be gone for 3 days for my family, but they are happy to send me because I'm getting paid. It's work, right? But this is a new spectrum. This wasn't something that I was always doing. So when changes come, we need them to be both. You need to be able to explain both the good changes and the not so good ones. Okay. That in and of itself is a different conversation. Number 3 in the pillars of productivity is you have to delegate. You got to delegate. Usually most of us, we like to bypass the family vision part. We want to bypass the communication. That's not fun. We want to bypass that stuff and just give the things we don't want to do away to other people. We just want to give it away. However, it is necessary, mandatory. You have to make sure that you are delegating the things that are unimportant to yourself and others and holding on to the things that are. And so a lot of us, we delegate stuff that actually is important to our spouse or important to our children or important to our vision. We want to give everything away. We want somebody else to tell us what the vision is. No, baby, it's you. You're the visionary. You have to be able to set the pace and then delegate the extra stuff. Okay. And usually we just want to move everything off our plate and live a life of ease and flow. I'm sorry. You want your business to support your life full time? Then you have to show up full time. You want to have a 6-figure, multi-6-figure platform, entity, community, all these things. Oh, I'm sorry, but you don't want to show up and go live and teach your people. You don't want to do coffee chats. I saw somebody saying coffee chats were a waste of time. I'm like, what? I cannot tell you how many opportunities came for me, clients signed for me, right? Because I was able to go and speak at an organization or two different entities or companies. What? Oh my goodness. So some of us we're delegating the wrong things. You have to be able to streamline and itemize what's most important to your family, your vision, and then what do I need to delegate? All right, we need to make a list. And then number 4 of the pillars of productivity is to elevate. Elevate your vision, elevate your mission, your platform, your community, your business, your work. I tell all my ladies, like, I don't think anybody finds their way here to Momathon if you are not a big deal. You got to be a big deal. you just are. They're like, really? Yeah. Everybody that finds their way to a discovery call with me, everybody who finds their way to this community, to the lessons that we teach here, it's because you're a big deal. It just is. It's a fact, proven fact. Because I have women who come and they bring me these ideas that brought to fruition are going to change the world. Brought to fruition are changing the educational system. They're starting schools. They're opening wellness centers. They're opening law firms that support Black and brown people. It's like, wait a second, this is going to change people's lives. But what we don't have time to do is not stick to it. And a lot of us end up taking our foot off the gas, moving slower, and then quitting too soon. We fall prey to the start and stop cycle. Okay, we fall prey to that cycle of I'm motivated, I'm excited, I'm ready. Oh, this is taking longer than I thought it was. Oh, this is not working. One of the things about resourceful people that, I know I can do anything, I know I can solve any problem, we tend to DIY things. Okay, we tend to say, I'll figure it out. And then we just let the cloudy thoughts and motivated, not motivated, start and stop cycle wreak havoc on everything that's happening internally. We begin to second guess our decisions, but we don't tell anybody. We create a bigger vision, but we don't share. We begin to create plans, and if we don't do the plan, really nobody knows and nobody holds us accountable that we didn't do what we said we were going to do. Who is that person in your life, right? Those people that don't, as my coach says, get in the pool with you, like jump in and agree with you that this is such a big problem and, oh, this is hard to overcome. You might need somebody to tell you, I think you're overthinking it. You don't need all that. You just need this right here. This one thing, these two things is going to be so simple. I see you wanting to add more. I see you wanting to add more stuff to your bullet points. I see you looking at someone else's strategy and feeling like that's going to work better, that's going to work faster. But what you have on your vision board right now, what you have on your planner, in your notebook is enough. It's enough to get you there. It's enough to carry you. It's the safety net that you're looking for if you walk it out to the finish line. And then when you've done it, you troubleshoot and you tweak it and then you do it again. Momathon is a result of me doing it again and again and again and again and again. Until everybody says, that productivity coaching lady, she's doing this next thing. Y'all know Christina's doing, this one more thing. I started to talk about the goals that I was working towards while I was working on it. I didn't wait until I did it. I've been talking about Essence for 3 years. Talking about doing more work for Essence for 3 years. And this year I said, you know what I have done? I've had 6 Essence magazine features in the last 2 years. 6. Some people just want 1. If I had changed lanes and hopped back and forth, I would have missed the moment, miss the opportunity, miss the momentum that I had already created, it would have fallen off. I would have been starting over again. Okay. So in the midst of your start and stop cycles, I got to ask you this question. What are you going to celebrate at the end of the year? Who are you going to celebrate becoming at the end of the year? If you run up to me at the Momathon conference in 4 months, October 25th through the 27th in Atlanta, if you run up to me at the conference, you say, Christina, everything that I said I was going to do, I did. I dominated. Okay. I did everything I said I was going to do this year on my goals. I became that woman. I own my own voice again. Some of us gave our voices away to our significant others. We gave our voices away to our children. We gave our voices away to the other influential people in our life. Did you go get your voice back? Did you decide this is something that I know I need to include in my life? Okay. Good morning. Something that I need to include in my life, that I go and embrace that autonomy again. Autonomy with balance. Okay. Not, baby, I'm going to go do me and do whatever I want to do. But I firmly believe that this is my next decision, and I'm going to own that. Okay. I'm going to own that. And I think for many of us, that's where we struggle. That's where we struggle. So what are you going to celebrate at the end of the year? What are you going to celebrate at the end of the year? Who are you going to become? I, Christina, am going to celebrate a fully sold out, fully sponsored conference. Okay. I'm going to celebrate going to Essence Festival as a foundation partner, right? I'm going to celebrate doing more work in that avenue. I'm going to celebrate building my community out and launching my second mastermind in November. I'm going to celebrate I'm going to do it. It's already being done. Okay. What about you? What about you? What are you going to celebrate? What are you going to say yes to? What are you going to politely, with love, decline because it's no longer working for you? If you run up to me at the end of this year and say, Christina, 2024 owes me nothing. Everything that I said I was going to do, I did. What would be on that list? Okay, what would be on that list? How are you going to be more bold in your goals, in your business, in your vision? How are you going to do it? You may know what you want to do, but the how might feel kind of cloudy. I see this, but I'm not really sure how to pull it off. I'm really sure how I'm going to do it. That's okay. I believe that women who are next level, you need a different plan. Okay, you need a different plan. And so this is why the amazing ladies that I'm honored to partner with, they are political leaders. They're running for office. They're actresses you can see on Netflix. They are powerhouse lawyers and educators. They are nonprofit founders and community leaders. They are coaches and speakers and authors. They are continuously creating new ways to change their families, their legacies, and change the world all at the same time. Okay. So the question I have for you is, are you next? Are you next? Our Momathon Mastermind finishes this week. Okay, it's our last meeting. So that means that I now have space for a few more clients. Okay, I have space for a few more clients. Here's how you know that you're a good fit for this. Okay, you have moved past the point of trying to figure out what you want to do. I feel kind of lost. I'm still reading Purpose Driven Life and trying to sort through why am I here on this planet. That's okay if that's where you are. But this call to action is really for the vision-minded sisters that are here watching. For those who know that they're called to great things, you hear God saying, I'm putting you here, but you may need more support, more accountability, more strategic planning in order to reach that place. Okay. So the ladies that I coach are all change makers. They're usually mothers, right? Women with families where You can't do what everyone else does. You can't do what everybody else is doing. It doesn't work for you. To experience feeling burned out, your burnout doesn't just affect your work. It affects who you are in your marriage. It affects who you are with your children. It affects how well you take care of your home. It affects how you brainstorm and dream, because burned out women think with limited capacity. They think with limited capacity. And so as we brainstorm on the second half of the year, we're about to slide into July, mama. We're sliding into July. I need for you guys to ask yourself, what do I want to celebrate? And am I on track to getting there? Am I on track to becoming that person? Am I on track? It's okay for you to say no. It's okay for you to say, I said I was going to make 75K, for example, this year with this particular section of my business. Right now, I'm at 25. That means I need to create this much more based off of the months. I'm not on track right now. It's okay for you to own that. Okay. It's okay for you to say, you know what, I am on track, but I don't like the way I feel hustling after this goal. It's okay for you to say, I wanted to book 10 in-person speaking engagements this year. I booked 2. I might be a little off with me moving forward. Okay. It's okay for us to own that. It's the self-awareness that kicks in for us, that allows us to move forward to the next thing. Okay. So we're closing out the Momathon Mastermind. Our group program will not open again until later in the fall, like November, after the conference. Okay. So this call to action is for the women who want to work with me until then. Okay. Who want to grab onto 3 months or 6 months of coaching support to help you organize your busy world and have next level strategic planning, and not work through your own process, your own goals, feeling like you're grasping for straws. Okay. Feeling like I'm just trying to figure it out. One more day trying to survive, falling into the bed at night exhausted because your energy is depleted. Your wellness, your self-care isn't where it needs to be. Your mental health, you're anxious and overwhelmed, and you're exhausted. This is not who I want to be as I build. And what happens is, it makes me sad to see us closing things down because of the exhaustion, or because our families don't feel like they're a priority. So your husband vocalizes his frustration. Your children are like, Mama, you're not there like you used to be there. I feel like, back in the day, you were like this. Now you're all over the place and you're so busy, and all these other conversations. That's fine to have those conversations. It's okay for that to happen. Now, what do I do next? Because Christina, nobody told me that this was a part of the process. Nobody told me that if I'm going to be a next level woman, this is what comes with it. Nobody said that. So how do I adapt? What do I need to do differently in order to make my goals happen without losing sight of what matters the most? Okay. And so I have every intention of bringing some ladies on this weekend. I know that's wild. Today's Saturday. Okay. But if you're watching and you have questions about coaching, or you feel like 3 months or 6 months, you're a yes for one of those options. Okay. Here's what I need you to do. After this live is over, I need you to come and hop in my messenger. Hey, good morning. I need you to come hop in my messenger. I need you to say, Christina, I'm ready. Right? I don't want to go into July. I don't want to go into the remainder of the year feeling like I'm trying to figure it out. I want to have a concrete system of, this is what I'm saying yes to. This is what I'm saying no to. These are the boundaries I need in place in order to make it happen. Okay. And I believe that we hit all of our goals in double the time, half the time, because we're focused and we know exactly what we need to do and when. Okay. So after you're listening to this, if you're like, I'm kind of curious, I think I need details, let me find out more information. If you're like, I'm definitely a yes, I'm ready, send me the invoice, right? I'm ready to go. I've been watching for a while, I'm ready. Then hop in my messenger after this is over, okay? Let's utilize the pillars of productivity together to organize your busy world. All right? I'll see y'all next time.